Hello everyone, this is Al at Al's Motorrad, and we're replacing today clutch on this 2006 BMW K1200GT motorcycle. The main difference between previous generation 1200 K1200 bikes and this 1200 bike is that these bikes came with wet clutch versus dry clutch in previous generation. We will use some special BMW tools here. This tool is to unscrew the clutch nut, this special lock tool that we're gonna lock the crankshaft. If you don't have these special BMW tools, you can ask your friend for an assistance when you need to unscrew the nut that's holding the clutch, and it's 190 Newton meters torque, so it's pretty hard to unscrew that nut. You can hold the brake, put the bike in gear, and ask somebody to hold the brake, and then try to unscrew it on your own risk, of course. But I do recommend using the specialized BMW tools. You can get them from Max BMW. For this job, you will also need some clutch components, and this time we're using the Barnett Performance Products clutch. These are high quality. This is a high quality wet clutch. Also, you will need to replace the clutch cover gasket. And all the bolts that are holding the clutch cover and the slave cylinder have to be replaced. They're made of aluminum, they're one-time use. So you also have to get this either from BMW or for other sources. There are a few screws that hold the fairing here on top where the compartment is. On the other side here where the wheel is, and one here and two here. There's also one torque screw on the other side here on top. Make sure you remove it so that you don't break the plastic here. Next step is to remove the styrofoam here and the lower fairing. The lower fairing is held by two screws here underneath and one right under the brake pedal. And the styrofoam comes off just simple as that. Next step, we're gonna remove the heat shield that's held by two T30 torque screws, and the clutch slave cylinder that's being held by 1, 2, 3, 4 T30 screws. Once you remove the slave cylinder, make sure you don't press on the clutch. Just simply hang it on the bungee cord. Now we have to remove all those screws around the clutch cover, and then we're gonna reveal the clutch. There will be some oil dripping once you remove the clutch cover. Simply grab on to these two hooks here that hold the heat shield and just pull it. So there's also some oil dripping, so make sure you have some kind of oil pan or something to catch the oil. Next step, you have to remove the bearing and the thrust washer. Carefully remove them and put them aside. The next step is to remove the nut that's holding the whole clutch in place, and it's torqued to 190 Newton meters, and you need a 30mm socket like this. Now, I machined the socket down a little bit because the regular socket is too thick. So you need some kind of thinner wall socket, or just machine down a 30mm heavy duty socket like this, so that it fits right in here. And also, before doing this, I'm gonna use this special tool, this BMW special tool that replaces the crankshaft sensor, and it blocks the crankshaft, or blocks the engine from moving. The crankshaft position sensor is located right here under the engine, and it's held by one bolt. It's T30 Torx. Unscrew the bolt. Take the crankshaft position sensor out. It has an O-ring. Make sure that the O-ring is in its place, and install the engine locker. Once you've done this, you're ready to unscrew the nut that's holding the clutch. And for this purpose, I'm going to use the BMW tool and a good breaker bar, and let's see how it goes. I used some extra length arm on my breaker bar, and I also, for the BMW tool that's here, to hold it in place, I used the bottle jack, so that the whole thing doesn't move. And basically, I already broke it. This is how you remove the nut. Here we go. Here's the nut. Next, I'm gonna carefully remove the basket clutch with the clutch plates, and I'm going to inspect them. Make sure you don't lose the washer that's inside. You can also inspect the splines here, and the next step will be replacement of the clutch plates. Once you remove the whole thing here, there is in every groove here there is residue from the old clutch. Make sure you clean them before installing the new plates. Before replacing the clutch plates, there's one thing that you have to know. The clutch plates can be installed only one way. There is a little groove on these tabs, and they have to be in line. Now, this tab with the groove is a little bit smaller than the rest. On the original clutch, the smaller tabs are with the imprint on them, and that's a 13mm. That's a 13mm one, and the rest are around 14mm. Always pay attention when you're installing the new clutch to this pattern. This clutch plate is almost worn to the metal. not install this clutch dry because you will damage the clutch. The clutch will burn if installed dry. So this has been in the oil for 15 or 20 minutes now, and it's ready to be installed. Once you release the bolts here, this can go out of alignment, so you may want to install it and then kind of torque these bolts here. So let's do that. Now my groove tabs are here and it's going in here. So now once the clutch pack is in, you can hand tighten the bolts and then torque them to 8 Newton meters. Next step, we're going to install the main nut, and it's got to be torqued to 119 Newton meters. So basically, to torque it, I just want to put this BMW tool on the some pieces of wood here. I have to release the crankshaft lock to be able to kind of put it here, so that I don't have to hold it, and I can torque it with my both hands. So I had to play around with it a little bit here. So now that this arm is stable here, I'm gonna use my both hands to torque the nut to 190 Newton meters. Here we go. After the nut is torqued, you have to install the bearing and the thrust shaft. When reinstalling the cover, make sure that you replace the gasket. Here's the new gasket, and you also have to replace the bolts. They're aluminum bolts. You have to buy them from BMW and replace them. Torque value is 3 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. That's a very light torque. These bolts have to stretch. Before installing the cover, make sure that you clean it and make sure that there is no oil on it or dirt. And after you install the cover, you have to install the clutch slave cylinder, which is held by 4 aluminum bolts. This is how you change clutch on the BMW motorcycles K1200GT 2006 to 2010. Some of the K1300 motorcycles have the same clutch. Thank you for watching, and if you would like to donate, here is the email address. Thank you.